Mabuhay, people of the Philippines! For the past weeks, you've been studying about the early revolts in the Philippines, and you got to meet and discover the brave and courageous Filipino heroes who first fought for the freedom that we are enjoying today. For this week, we are going to learn about the international events that promoted liberal ideas, which eventually entered the Philippines. And when you say liberal ideas or liberalism, it is the way of thinking that advocates change in government to promote equal rights, protection, and freedom for all individuals, and which the Filipinos did not experience during the Spanish era. Before we can go further, let's have a simple activity. Make sure that you have your notebooks with you. The question is, if you have the opportunity to visit one of these countries, where would it be? Germany, United States of America, Italy, United Kingdom, or France? Write your answer on your notebook. After choosing, kindly give at least 3 reasons why you chose this country. You can pause the video while you're writing your answers. Okay, let's proceed. Your reasons may be personal. Maybe because you want to experience authentic pasta cuisines in Italy, or probably visit the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Maybe you want to see the Gothic-inspired architecture in Germany. Get to see the Eiffel Tower in Paris, France. Visit the Royal Palace and meet Queen Elizabeth in United Kingdom. Or get to see Hollywood in the United States of America. These countries were some places that introduced liberal ideas to the world. By the beginning of the 19th century, a lot of changes took place in the lives of the Filipinos. 2 of those events were the end of the Galleon Trade in 1815, after its century of operation, and the opening of the Philippines to world trade. The Philippines was a colony of Spain, and it has limited interactions and trading with other countries outside Asia, Mexico, and Spain. A big factor in these changes was the Industrial Revolution in Europe and in other parts of the world. Let's watch this video from YouTube and to understand Industrial Revolution.
Just a minute! On today's show, the Industrial Revolution.
The Industrial Revolution is the period when the Western world changed over from an agriculture-based society to an industrialized one, meaning machines replaced people's work. A machine can do the work of 100 people. It gathers, cuts, dyes, moves things,
So that you can make more in less time. Ow!
See, up until about 300 years ago, the world was based on home economics. That is, people made their own food and clothes.
Right, what you made was what you ate.
That's right. Then along came Mr. Watt, who perfected the steam engine, which provided power for the coal, steel, textile, and transportation industries, as well as machines which were installed in giant factories.
Sounds good.
The cities that sprang up around the factories were overcrowded and incredibly poor. Workers became small cogs in the large system, and people were only responsible for a tiny fraction of production, which caused exploitation of workers, mainly women and children, who worked long hours in terrible conditions. Even so, this was a revolution that changed the face of society, and mass production was on its way.
And now for Bet You Didn't Know This.
The steam engine was actually invented by the Greeks about 2,000 years ago. But It lay forgotten until Mr. Watt came along and revived it.
There you have it. Industrial Revolution refers to the development of industries in England in the 1760s, which spread to other countries. This development gave more importance to the use of machines and putting up of factories over agriculture. Here are some of the machines invented during the Industrial Revolution. We have the telephone, steamboat, the spinning jenny, seed drill, the typewriter, and the steam engine. The use of machines led to the manufacture of more products that prompted the industrial countries like England, France, and Germany to look for sources of raw materials. However, the industrialized countries had problems with the mercantilist system. As we remember with our past discussions, second grading, mercantilism is the belief that a sound and stable state or country is one which has adequate or enough gold or silver in its coffers, meaning you can only call a country powerful if they have enough gold and silver. For them to be able to increase their wealth, these European states occupied other countries and exploited their natural resources. Thus, these countries became their colonies. The mercantilist system prohibited trade with countries colonized by other countries, like the Philippines, which was then under Spain, meaning we cannot trade with Portugal or any other states in Europe, only Spain. The only solution to the problem was to open new colonies, and as a result, new economic system, which was called capitalism, was born. Capitalism favored the idea of laissez-faire by Adam Smith. The doctrine of laissez-faire believes in free trade, where the government does not interfere with the market and even in the pricing of goods. This idea was promoted by the powerful nations to answer their need for raw materials. The Philippines was one of the countries that opened itself to free trade. As a whole, the two main world events greatly helped in opening the minds of the Filipinos. These are the following. First is the decline of mercantilism. Mercantilism. Because of this system, the European countries became more progressive and powerful, while the resources of the colonies were exhausted and used by these European countries. And the colonies also developed the idea that products coming from Europe had better quality and bought this despite the high prices, while the products of the colonies were bought at lower prices because those were usually raw materials. And during this period of mercantilism, the European countries began to amass wealth and power. But mercantilism began to decline with the advent of capitalism. The colonizers lost their hold on their colonies. The Philippines became free from mercantilism when it opened its ports to international trade and commerce. Because of the products of the Industrial Revolution, transportation and communication became faster and agricultural methods were improved. There was an increase in harvest in products and also in the number of businessmen and merchants Filipinos realized that they could equal the Spaniards, one thing they never experienced since the colonization. The second world event is the rise of the idea of la Ilustración. People during the Spanish period were classified according to social class. We have the Spaniards on top of the pyramid, or the elite Spaniards, the middle class, and of course, the ordinary people. The lowest group was composed of common Filipinos who were called Indios. The elite Spaniards are divided into two. We have the Peninsulares, which are the Spaniards born in Spain and lived in the Philippines. Insulares, the Spaniards born in the Philippines and raised in the Philippines. While in the middle class, we have three of them: the Mestizos, which are the half-blooded Filipinos. We have the Principalia, which are the Filipino government officials or the datus, and the Cacique, the Filipino wealthy landowners. And at the bottom part of the pyramid are composed of the farmers, fishermen, laborers, native Filipinos, or the so-called Indios. But the increasing wealth of the businessmen and merchants gave rise to ilustrados. The Illustrator family, or those who were wealthy among the middle class, were able to send their children to study abroad. Schools in Spain and other countries in Europe. Soon, they formed the so-called intelligentsia. The intelligentsia was composed of Filipinos who improved their social status and began to ask for reforms. Because these Filipinos were educated, their ideas about freedom and how it should be upheld broadened. These Filipinos learned many liberal things in Europe. We have Jose Rizal, Graciano Lopez Haina, Marcelo H. Del Pilar, Felix Resurrección Hidalgo, Mariano Ponce, and Antonio Luna. They were influenced by liberal ideas through their personal contacts with the liberal-minded and militant Europeans and Americans. They were also inspired by the spirit and ideals of the French Revolution. From this revolution, they learned about freedom, equality, democracy, and justice, or the so-called liberty, equality, fraternity, which was the main slogan of the French Revolution. With the rise of the La Ilustración ideas, political and social awareness among the ilustrados intensified. The conservative friars and Spanish officials did not like this development among the native Filipinos and learned that they would be a threat to their status. This fear was proven when the Filipinos started to criticize the anomalies in the church and government. Those criticisms led to arrests, imprisonments, and even deaths of nationalistic Filipinos who asked for reforms.